Welcome back, everyone. This week we're going to look at some alternative projects using the February 2021 paper pumpkin kit. And if you received this kit, you know it came with an ink spot, this case Mossy Meadow, came with embellishments and linen thread, and a stamp set with some really nice sympathy sentiments. And when I first opened this kit, I loved the card bases, I loved the envelopes, but I wasn't too fond of the designs. Now, you can use your kit as it is. You can make these designs, or you can think outside the box, use what you have to make some alternative projects. And the nice thing about Stampin' Up! Is that color coordination. So they tell you which colors are used in this kit. So Basic Black, Bumblebee, Just Jade, Merry Merlot, Mossy Meadow, and Rococo Rose. Now, the card we're going to make in this video is using Rococo Rose. I'm a big fan of this color. I'm going to be upset when it retires. And we're going to look at some Just Jade. I don't do a lot with greens. It's not my palette. So I'm challenging myself as well to think outside of what I normally do. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but the cover of this card is not using a card base. It's actually using the interior of one of the envelopes. And this is a trick I learned from somebody else online. So we're going to show you how to do that. So we're going to grab your Stampin' Trimmer, and you're going to cut off the little folds, just enough to open up the card, the envelope. Do that, you open it up, and then you have this much to work with. Now, a standard, if we want to leave a little bit of a border around, you want it a 1/4 inch smaller than the typical card base. So first we're gonna trim off that bit of white here. And the nice thing, you can see in the track exactly where you're cutting. And then don't throw this out. I use this to stamp on. Oh, I didn't get all the way down. That's my fault. Okay. Now we want this to be the width of 4 inches. And we want it to be 5 1/4, but we have a little bit of white we want to trim off first. And then we'll get it to 5 1/4. Just put our trimmer to the side. Now, I've already cut a Rococo Rose card base at 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored down the middle. So we're going to fold it in half, use our bone folder, and then this is going to get adhered to the front. Now, before we do that, let's do some stamping. Okay, I've already cut out a circle using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I have a scrap. Actually, if you watched my last video with the ombre paper, this is a scrap I saved from that video, and it actually works perfect. And the stamp set we're going to be using is the Art Gallery set, which is shaping out to be, as I said, one of my favorite new sets. So we'll start with the flower, and we're going to be using Rococo Rose ink. Now we're going to be using the technique where we're just going to stamp off. So this is the larger flower. I don't know if you can see it. Ink it up really well. I'm going to stamp off onto my grid paper, and then I'm going to stamp onto my little circle. And remember, photopolymer, so we want to hold it for a few just to get that ink to transfer. Okay. And then this is the detailed stamp. I'm going to ink it up, but I'm going to stamp it at full strength onto the circle. And this, the two-step stamping is a little more forgiving. So if you miss, if you're not perfect, it's fine. So you see that it looks, it's got that lovely detail to it by using the same color. Now I just wanted a little bit of the stem peeking out because we don't see a lot, but I didn't want it to be a flower floating. So I took my shaded spruce. We're not going to ink up the whole stem because it's not all going to show. So we'll just stamp off, and I'll just kind of stamp on the bottom. Just give a little bit of a peek of a stem. And then I put my Rococo Rose away before I stamped Happy Birthday. So let's get that back out. I have that strip of that scrap paper that I saved. Now this is a little bit tricky to do when I'm on camera because the camera's between me and the table. So just do my best. Not bad. Could be better, but not bad for on camera. Remember, it's homemade, right? It does not have to be perfect. So I also, I pulled out a piece of paper, but we're not going to do it on camera. I used Happy Thoughts for the inside, and I stamped a little flower for a little bit more decoration on the inside. So I'm going to start by, we're going to glue this about, that's where I want it. So we're going to use my friend, the silicone craft sheet, my glue, and this goes about here. Now it's okay that it doesn't go the full length of the card because I'm going to cover that up with my flower. Just a little bit of glue on the edges. Line it up so we have that pretty border all around, and that liquid glue gives you a little bit extra chance to get things in place. I'm going to take our flower, we're going to put it up on some dimensionals. With the circles, I like to do one in each direction and one in the middle. And we have our flower, it's covering the missing paper. And now we have this beautiful birthday card. Okay. So I wanted to show you some of the other projects I made using this set. Now, of course, this one, if you've been following me, you know I love the Happy Birthday set. And I was struggling what to do with this very plain card base. And it actually came to me in a dream to use this embossing folder, the painted textures embossing folder, so it kind of looks like ice cream, right? Like ice cream that's being scooped up. So I used the punch to punch out the ice cream cone, and then a little bit of that Blackberry Bliss, so I put that in the ink. So we have this really pretty card. It looks good enough to eat. And then I talked about playing with the Just Jade, which, as I said, green is not one of my colors. So I used the Springtime Joy stamp set to stamp these adorable characters, the lamb, the rabbit, who I colored with my stamping blends. And then I have that Easter's a Lovely Reminder of New Beginnings is in that stamp set. And I used the green card base from the kit, and I, like I did here, adhered it to the green Jade, Just Jade cardstock. And I did some other samples. This one, I follow the model in the book, in the directions, except I thought this gold piece would be too busy over the flowers. So I used the plain Mary Merlot, and I used a black, simple black card base. And this is the sentiment from the Paper Pumpkin kit. But then I took that front piece, the flowers, and I used a combination of a touch of ink and Heal Your Heart. Both are celebration items, which, by the way, you have 1 week left to earn one of these celebration items. And actually, I really love how this one came out. And once again, I used the Sorry for Your Loss from that Heal Your Heart. And the last sample I'm going to use, this is from, actually came from the yellow envelope as well. I'm not a big yellow person, but it just came out to be this bright, happy, cheery card. I used the gilded gems. I used some gold glitter paper I had left over, and black makes a really striking border. And then once again, use the Happy Thoughts stamp set. So these are 6 different examples made with the items in this kit, and there's still more items in that kit I haven't used, so I expect to make a bunch more. If you're interested in placing an order, this is the February host code. It's only good for 1 more week. Celebration is only open for this last week, so it's a good time to get your order in. Check out Paper Pumpkin or a card kit. If you have any questions, leave a comment or email me, and stamp on.